This is now 3 years since we actually started doing the folded project. And initially, the problems just existed in the biochemistry. Nobody knew how to solve them. The question is, can people from all over the world somehow use collective ability for problem solving to somehow advance the science beyond where it is today? So the game is a little bit like Tetris on steroids. So it's a very complex three-dimensional puzzle. So the idea, imagine you have a necklace, and the necklace, instead of beads, has these weird shapes attached to it. And your quest is, how can I take this necklace and fold it in the smallest amount of space, such that it's very tightly packed, and perhaps such that it has an external shape that nicely fits some virus or some other thing that it's trying to fight. So computer, what it does is kind of is blindfolded, and it's just trying to do all sorts of different things. And so if you have millions of computers, you can still try a lot of blindfolded things, but the space is still too large, and that's why computers fail. What people do is they don't try millions and millions of things. What they do is they see, aha, I see this shape, and I see this other shape, so I think they're connected in some way. So they have a very careful way in which they hypothesize and experiment with those hypotheses. We live in a 3D world, and we're faced with these kinds of problems all the time. And more importantly, we have a plastic brain. It's a brain that is capable of adapting itself towards becoming better at solving those puzzles as you solve them for a long period of time. It doesn't necessarily require you to take the thick biochemistry book and learn it all. The game distills only the key aspects that are required for the scientific discovery. Our top 20 players, 18 of them had no biochemistry background whatsoever, and those 2 that had are actually at the bottom of the top 20 list. It does have to happen online. There's a number of reasons for this. One is, perhaps the most important one, is that the community and the knowledge of the community expands through social communication between people. Everything is shared, and everything can be exchanged on a daily basis, as opposed to waiting for some publication before somebody else picks up a project, for example. So this kind of social interaction and social structure was key, and as a result, it really had to be online. The other reason why it had to be online is because every time when we saw somebody doing something very creative, we would adjust the game over the period of several days towards enabling many other people to do that kind of creative thing. So there was kind of a coevolution of what people were able to do and what the game was able to enable people to do. There was a protein that they didn't know how to solve for 15 years. The folded players, when we presented the problem to them, solved it in less than 3 weeks. And now we have multiple laboratories in the world waiting for the proposed results from the game folded to decide what next to do in their laboratories. The question arose is, well, novice to experts, that's education. You know, there's nothing else to it. So why don't we just take that same principle and just remove all the key bottlenecks in education that exist today? So I started looking at math, especially early math, because we lose most scientists today, or most mathematicians today, in elementary and middle school. Before they actually, at that point, they either decide they're not good at it, it's not fun, it's not cool, or it's too hard, right? All of those things can actually be changed. And so I thought, perhaps there is a way in which a game can provide scaffolding and empowerment that we're able to create with Folded towards just removing all of these bottlenecks that really don't need to be there. The games are great because no matter what kind of educational system you have, no matter how inspired your teachers are, and no matter what your situation in the world is, you could learn anywhere in the world. You could be on your bus with a smartphone and you can be learning something, or you could be incorporating these kinds of games in school, making them more fun. You can replace your homeworks with home play, etc. So that's basically the assumption that we started working on. And then, so we picked fractions, proportional reasoning, some of the key things that are known to be problematic for young kids and be key stumbling blocks. And now we're working on ways in which we can completely eradicate them as stumbling blocks by having 4 or 5 different games all centered on each bottleneck that adapt to every student. So imagine a game they can actually specifically change itself to fit the particular type of confusion that each student uniquely has. So all of a sudden, the levels that you get or the challenges you get are very different from your friend, but they're specific to you, targeted towards you having a conceptual understanding of these concepts in the fastest possible way based on your preferences, current state of what you understand, and maybe the learning style, the ways in which you are most likely to learn. So it's that sort of adaptive technology that I think is very exciting, in addition to the fact that that incentive structure is driving everything. So when you're done, not only are you understanding fractions of proportional reasoning, but you feel like this is cool, or I'm good at this, I'm proud of this, I'm going to share this with my friends, and we're going to sort of have a whole social network around creating new levels for younger kids, for example, or all sorts of different ways in which they immediately are involved in the process, not just compute this and be done with it. If you feel like you're creative and you feel like you're capable of solving a problem, there's no boundary to what you can take on. If you can actually create that tenacity, persistence, and the ability to sort of go towards challenges with the belief that you can overcome them, huge amount of things become possible, not just education, but just in life in general.